Hello everybody, welcome to episode 165 of Nintendo Power Block, your weekly source of Nintendo news, analysis, and other shenanigans. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derry, and alongside me, as always, is that retro code, Eddie V.
I wish Ryu was my national boyfriend.
Oh boy.
Hello everybody.
Ed?
Yes.
I feel like it's been a hot minute since we talked. How's it going? How's your week? How's your day? How's your life?
Things are going good, really good. Just trying to recover from September as we go into this crazy October month.
I know it's ridiculous. There's too many games to play, and I don't have time to play any of them. I literally don't have time to play any of them. I've been trying to stream the last couple nights, and so. I know it's not on a Nintendo platform, but I've been trying to stream Destiny the last 2 nights, and it's been such a nightmare trying to even get in that I'm just I just stopped. And I probably should have streamed something else, but I went to bed at 9:30 instead last night, and it was nice. So
yeah, it's funny. I yesterday I just streamed Just Cause 3. I haven't been streaming for a week and a half. Of course, the Nintendo stuff, but I was just I cut on my Xbox and was just I need to stream something, and I just did Just Cause 3.
I need to stream some more, but the thing is I'm prepping to turn my desk 180 degrees, so I can use this back wall that's behind me that has my soundproof on it.
Yes,
it'll probably be my green screen for streaming, so it'll be a lot cleaner, hopefully. In terms of my streams and stuff, but yeah, man, it's been a long couple weeks because last week I worked a long week, and then I worked the company I work for is doing their inventory stuff, and I volunteered to help with it, and so I worked late Friday night, and then I worked Saturday, which I don't normally work Saturdays, and this week is the next week of it, and I have to do it again. So that's why we didn't have an NX show last week, because everybody's out of town or busy or doing something, and and some things, scheduling changes might be coming to Nintendo Power Block too because of Ed's situation, so we're gonna try to figure that out. But
so just to let everybody know, I got a promotion at work, so
yay, golf clap.
I gotta learn some things and hurry stuff along so I can be moved into this new position, so work could be easy. So hopefully things work out. Hopefully this leads to more Nintendo games, but I'm going to be here for the podcast. I'm not giving up.
Yeah, I mean, we're just by scheduling, we by Ed's situation, I just mean we're going to probably move Nintendo Power Block to a different day live, and probably a different day posting it, but that doesn't mean we're not going to do it, because we're doing it. We are doing it. It just we're gonna have to figure out a new schedule with Ed's schedule, so it might be a little sporadic live for a while, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it all figured out. So
yes,
it's a work in progress, as they say.
Yeah.
So, which actually, if our schedule's changing, then maybe my Thursday nights can be open up to do more of what I kind of have been working on in the background of everything. So
yeah,
it might work itself out. So
yes.
I mean, the show will be fine. I'm saying a schedule will work itself out. So yeah. So Nintendo Power Block will continue. I'm just making sure everybody knows that it's going to continue.
Yes, and the NX show will also continue.
Yes, the NX show will also continue. We just gotta get that schedule down, as they say. So
yes.
But anyways, this is Nintendo Power Block live on Mixer. If you did not know that, welcome to the stream, to the podcast. You can catch us live every Thursday until we change it at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for about 90 minutes or so to talk Nintendo and what's happening in the world of. If you can't join us live, no big deal. You can find Nintendo Power Block on YouTube, Spotify, and your favorite podcast app every Saturday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time in edited form. Make sure you stay tuned for the after show, where Ed and I will play classic Nintendo games and take your questions in the Mixer chat.
Yes.
We're currently making our way through A Link to the Past, so we will be on part 2. If you can't join us live for that, also, no big deal. You can catch it on YouTube and on the website the following Thursday morning. So, you won't miss it. Just going to clean it up a little bit, edit it, and it'll be good to go. You can follow me on Twitter at CoreyNHD713. You can follow Ed at ThatRetroCode and check out our network of other shows and content. So, Ed,
yes.
I'm man, I'm just trying to catch up here. We're gonna get into the cartridge slot. We're gonna start with you because that's what we always do. So what are you playing on your Switch?
So Final Fantasy IX. Return back to that, getting a little bit further into that. Really dig it. I do have a problem with this version. I don't know. It keeps sometimes in the cutscene it'll freeze, or even in the battle it'll freeze, and the music keeps playing, and I had to literally shut the game off and then get back on, and then when I get to that same part, it'll go through, and I'm wondering. I'm just like, is Square Enix gonna patch this, or did they ever just give? I have a feeling that they just gave up on patching it.
Well, they patched the issue in 7, so I don't know why they wouldn't do it in 9.
Yeah, I really don't know. I just do not know.
Man, let me tell you, man, these ports need some work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, though. I mean, I do immensely enjoy the 10 and 12 ports, but 7 and 9 specifically need some work.
Yeah,
especially that music glitch. Sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
No,
that music glitch that's in 7 and 9 also. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Can't
be no worse than Grandia HD. Ooh, the music loop is terrible. You can hear the edits, and it's bad. I need to get back to that game and finish it, but it was just man, what is up with the music? What the heck happened? But played a little bit more of Contra, the Contra collection. Ended up playing the Contra game on for Game Boy. Kind of a cool game, not really that bad. I think I need to play more to see if I could beat it. And I also played Contra 3, the European version, Pro Protector, I think. I need to play a little bit more. That is the same thing as the regular Contra 3. It's just as robots as the main characters. But there is a game that I do want to talk about, and I'm smiling about this game because I actually just started Daemon X Machina.
Oh boy, yeah, I saw you post on social media today your main character or whatever.
Yes.
I'm just it looks like your Xbox avatar. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I didn't even think about that. Wow, I think so. Yes. So to give preface to this, the first demo, the prologue ones, 2 of the missions are in there, so it kind of follows there. But the third and fourth mission is kind of brand new to all the players who's playing it for the first time. It's something that you haven't seen, and I got to say that if it was a little bit faster, I would love it more, but I'm cool with it being at this speed, it at 30 frames per second. The flying really feels good, and I love that there's more ammo drops in here. That I'm just oh great, and how they were talking about all the when you get close to the ammo, it literally just comes to you. Such a great time saver with that. They did change the color of the boxes, so it is easier to see the enemies. The enemies now are kind of like an orange, so you're able to see them. And there's like actually.
Oh yeah, because that was like the big kind of issue I had was like the enemies. You couldn't really see them because they blended in with the background a lot.
and I think because I started and I did the update, they actually have a logo on the enemies, like where
really?
Yeah. So it indicator, I should say. So it has like a little black thing with like an orange marking to show you that this is the enemy right there. And I'm just like, they're probably still patching it, is still working on it. I haven't encountered no slowdowns. There is a lot of talking and narrating and stuff, but because you're shooting and you're fighting, you really don't get to pay attention to it. I think you probably need to play this game with headphones if you want to be more into the story. Not really worry about the voice acting and the animation of it. That's there. It kind of feels for right now like my first mecha game, and that's great. You know, like Demon X Machina can lead you to the Armored Core series or Gundam or any kind of like mecha stuff, and whether there's anime, movies, or more video games. Like Demon X Machina, I like how the game is really starting off. The customization is getting good. I still need to unlock more customizations for my mech, because I think I'm going to end up changing colors and stuff. And I kind of did your thing, Corey, where you look at your character from Destiny, and sometimes you just be like, oh, I hate this, and you want to restart or you want to change some things. Like even before I posted my character, I went through some color things. Like they have some preset colors, but then you got where you could customize like a mixture of colors. So you want to make it brighter or darker. If you want to pick one of them that's not on a preset color thing. And I was looking at the eyes, and I was just like, no, I don't like these eyes. I kind of, because my demo character is different than my first demo character is actually different than my character that I made for this game. I'm still I choose some colors for my mech, but I didn't post it because I want to finalize it. And I think I might take my color scheme from Anthem, but I might not. I might just actually do something completely different. But yeah, I'm like, I don't understand why it got 5.5. So I don't understand why people are not playing this game. Like, it is stylish. It feels empty, which is fine. But like the flying, the shooting, going fast and dodging. Even though this is the intro, everything that they showcase and I got excited for is meeting my expectations. Like, I can't wait to play more throughout a little bit more of October, because I got spooky games that I am going to be playing. I'll talk about that later on NX. But I'm just like, man, I don't know why this game got average reviews, why no one really didn't pick it up or anything.
I wonder if it's because it's like it's going for a certain thing with a certain audience, and like maybe it's the people who are reviewing it just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are saying it's really for like you said, it's like baby's first Armored Core game, but it's still like a mech game, and like there's a lot of customization and methodical prepping you need to do in those games that maybe people just don't get right now because there's not a lot of that out there.
And it's weird because I'm not knocking Destiny at all, or even Anthem, not knocking those games, but the same time, the same thing that people put into Destiny and Anthem, when Anthem was big, even the Division 2,
but
like
that's different. It's different in a way though, because like people know how to play first-person shooters, right? People know how to play third-person shooters.
Yes,
I think people are going into this mech game thinking they're going to go play a third-person shooter with flying, and it's not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, though? Like,
yeah, but it's like, well, the reason why I brought those games up is that it's not even a first person perspective or anything like that. It's the investment people have put into those games or getting their character right with the guns and the customization and things like that. And I do agree with you, Corey. I do agree with you. Like a lot of people here in America are just not used to mech games, but I just feel like if you put in the work and customization that you put into some of the first American first-person shooters, you could transition that same attitude and gameplay style to Daemon X Machina. And the only difference is that there's a lot of flying, the perspective is different. It's easier because it's automatic lock on, so you don't have to like hold the L2 button or L with whatever button, hold it down. Like you just really fly around and you shoot, and it's just like I guess it is for a certain audience. I just wish more people would be willing to give this game a try, because as much as people were disappointed with Anthem, I don't think this game disappoints.
Yeah,
I think it's a game that everybody seen a trailer, everybody was excited. It got delayed, and I think because of the demos that came out, those demos might have hurt the sales, but it might also have just been the presentation itself that people were just like, this is cool, this is awesome, love the trailer, but yet it's not a game for me because it's mech.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, that's okay if you're not like into it,
Yeah.
I there is a demo that you can be out there and check it out too, like I think that demos for these types of games are probably a good idea, just to allow people to play them and get a feel for it, I like for me this isn't my type of game.
Yeah, and I can understand.
And like I'm not saying it's a bad game. I did not care for what I played the first time around, and I haven't gotten around to playing the second demo, and maybe the second demo will change my mind. I'm not sure. But I still want to give it a shot. But
right, and I think that Marvelous and the Grasshopper, they weren't trying to sell people on the demo. They were looking for feedback.
Yeah,
and when their attention is, we know that you got some of you people will judge us from this demo, and that's fine. Make sure while you're judging us, tell us what we're doing wrong or what we could fix to make the game better, because your judgment and your input help us make a better final product. Yeah. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't like Anthem where it just do a demo out for certain players, and then like you really couldn't even get into the demo because the server itself wasn't working.
Right.
And they didn't ask for no feedback. They do everything close to where the game was coming out.
Right.
So I think if people are adventurous, if you're willing to support, Marvelous and Grasshopper, all the developers who came together to make this product, I say it's, to me personally, it was worth $64 that I paid for this game. I paid full price. Did it like even when the GameStop employee told me that Nintendo probably thought that it wouldn't sell well or anything. I don't know the sale numbers for this game. It probably dropped off. Probably people didn't buy it. But I am excited that
I mean, we don't know September's numbers yet, so I mean, it could be.
Yeah. I just hope that by the end of the year, even by Black Friday, I'm just like, if it goes on sale, I think people should pick it up and give it a try. Have something new in your library. You may not like it, you may hate it and yell it, want to trade it in, but I feel like sometimes you won't find a new game, because even the story that we're going to be talking about later on, stuff like that happens to a game developer when you think their products that they release are great, but yet sometimes sales don't meet the expectations, and that thing can happen. But like David X Machina, like the more I play, and I can't wait to play more. I can't wait till I get a sword, so I customize and look through the stats, see what's good and stuff. Because of course I'm an RPG fanatic, and like really dig in. Right now, just from what I play, it is literally scooting up into my Game of the Year nominee. I didn't make it my Game of the Year nominee just yet, but I think once I play more into this, I think it's going to take a spot there.
Yeah. Well, good. I mean, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Like I like to see games that seem to be not getting the best of praise. I like it. Mm-hmm. I like seeing when people are enjoying it. Yeah. So. Is that it? Is that all you've been playing? Is that everything?
Let's see. Untitled Goose Game I played a little bit more of. I didn't return back to Contra Road Quartz because I had to
delete it off your system.
No, I had to switch to Xbox and a little bit of PS4 because there was some stuff that I downloaded for PS4. But yeah, nothing else other than that. Other than that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing for Switch and just trying to, get some stuff done on other consoles. But yeah,
nice. I mean, for me, it's been the same. Fire Emblem and Zelda. Link's Awakening. I got through the second dungeon. I'm trying to like play the game without looking stuff up, which is incredibly difficult in this day and age. I'm trying to find the third dungeon, and I have no idea where it's at. So I'm still wandering around.
Did you go to the telephone?
Shh. No, I did not. No, I did not. But I absolutely adore that game. I think it's an incredible reimagining remake of Link's Awakening. It's very pretty. It's very for me, like, it runs fine. Like I noticed some hiccups when you like enter the town, but other than that, it's like I don't know why everybody's getting so mad at this game. It's who cares? Like, it's loading the town. What do you want? This game was like made it. Whatever. I don't want to go into it. I'm just gonna get angry. But I've been playing Fire Emblem still. I'm still grinding my way through. I think I just keep playing it because I don't want it to end. Like I just keep grinding and going, and I keep playing because I don't want it to end. But I know the end is near, which makes me really sad. But I'm also like ready to play another game and ready for this DLC that's coming in like 6 months. So I love Fire Emblem so much. It's so good. It's so good.
It really is.
We played A Link to the Past together. By we I mean you played while I was talking and narrating.
Can I tell you, I was watching the stream and I was having fun watching it. Just like,
yeah, I did get some feedback. So when we go to stream it after Power Block tonight, know that you guys aren't going to see our faces. Some people said they just wanted a clean video of it, so I said, okay, if that's what you want, then that's what we'll give you. So you probably won't see us on camera playing it, but you will hear us, so that'll be fine. I also downloaded Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah,
because my mom and my wife both told me that I need to give them ideas for birthday gifts and Christmas gifts, and since it's like a little over a month away for my birthday and 2 months for Christmas, I am trying to hold off on some stuff. But Luigi's Mansion I will be playing Luigi's Mansion when it comes out. But like, stuff like Dragon Quest and The Witcher, I'm going to hold off on for now, and probably ask for those for Christmas, especially because like Target right around Thanksgiving usually runs that buy two get one sale on games.
Yeah.
And so like my mom usually asks me,
Snack games.
well, she'll be like, well, you can have 3 for your birthday and 3 for Christmas, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot. It's usually what happens, but we'll see what happens. She didn't do it last year because I started doing digital stuff, and I was trying to keep up with Switch stuff on my own, which is very expensive. So and my wife and I are trying to like cut back on spending and stuff, and you know, I'm trying. I'm not doing as well as she is, but you know, I'm doing my best. So you know, I gotta prep for that. So that's kind of all I've been playing on Switch. I'm also kind of in the middle of like, you know, we on Nerds Gone Rogue, that platform, we Nerds Gone Platinum ended, and so like I'm trying to figure out what to do with all 3 of our platforms here and see like what the best way to go about it is, you know. And it's like I've been a little bit frustrated with that, as you know, off camera. And not that Nerds Gone Platinum ended. I understand, like, look, they're all busy with family and parents, and they're 2 of them are parents, and you know, I understand that kind of stuff. I'm just I just feel like as you know, kind of like the producer of all these things and trying to like do this, I'm kind of in this spot where like I kind of feel lost a little bit right now, and like what I want to do versus what I want to do as a group, and versus which, you know, who wants to do what and where do we do it and how do we do it, you know. I just to be real with everybody, I feel kind of lost in that area right now.
Oh no.
Which is like part of the reason why I haven't been streaming also this week, is because I've been working on plans, multiple plans on like, well, who wants to do what, who's doing what, who wants to do what, where, and that kind of thing. So like, you know, to be 100% honest with everybody who is used to watching me on Mixer, at least, like, that's where I'm at with that. And like, I'm still trying to I'm doing the podcast, but I'm trying to figure out like, what do I do / what do we do outside the podcasts, you know, and that's where I'm at with that. And you know, I just want to make all the show, like at least all the podcasts, the best podcasts they can possibly be, without, you know, worrying about everything else. But then I do worry about everything else, and sometimes like there was a comment on Twitter the other day that, you know, said I haven't really talked much on the last couple podcasts, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably because I'm zoning out trying to figure out what to do next instead of focusing on the show.
LGR.
Yeah, and I'm just, you know, trying to focus, and I need to refocus, and that's kind of where my brain's been at. So I haven't really played a lot of either of those games either, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to save Link's Awakening for stream, and Fire Emblem is something that I play when I'm not streaming, and then Destiny just came out, so I'm trying to figure out where to fit that in, and if I can fit that in right now. You know, and I've been watching people play it, and it's like, man, I really want to be playing this.
Shoot, look, I'm trying to.
It's crazy though, because like I logged in and all of my characters were 750. Everybody starts at 750.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Well, this is the thing that, like, probably 2 people besides you, Corey, have talked about Shadowkeep and did nothing. I haven't seen anyone else talk about Shadowkeep.
My feeds are full of Shadowkeep stuff, but I also follow a lot of Destiny people.
Okay.
Like, I follow Dado, I follow Professor Broman, I follow Destin Legary from IGN, I follow pretty much every big name in Destiny. I follow, you know, like I follow a lot. So Destiny's been in my feed, and my hype level for Destiny is like through the roof. I just haven't found the time to play it.
Has there been sorry, everybody, never getting off the topic. Has there been a lot of
servers are overpopulated? There are people waiting in digital lines to get in to play Destiny. as of yesterday, there were over 15 million people logged into Destiny on all 3 platforms.
Trying to get it to Shadowkeep. So
yeah.
There's people. Are they?
It also helps too that everything up to, I want to say, Forsaken is free right now. So like the Destiny New Light stuff is all free. So that's like, all 4 campaigns and all the strikes and even think the first raid is free now. Like,
did you look at Destiny on your Xbox? The picture, the icon.
Yeah.
Is it like red and orange?
Yeah. Yeah.
I seen it and I was just like, when did it update?
It
like
updates
that?
it updates every time an expansion comes out.
But it must have did it all last week then.
Yeah.
Well, when I didn't have my system on. Yeah. That's why.
Well, even if you don't have Shadowkeep, it's going to update to the Shadowkeep icon.
Okay.
So, that's kind of like their way to say, "Hey, buy it." But
okay. It was just weird that I had that icon.
It's not even like a Shadowkeep icon. It's just the Traveler and like this black and red kind of icon that just says Destiny 2 on it now.
Yeah.
And,
which is cool. That I liked it. I think I was kind of confused that I didn't have my system on and it just updated and did that. And I was just like,
well, I think the icon will change regardless if you update the game or not, because that's just the new icon. So,
and I wonder if they did it. If they changed the icon before Shadowkeep came out.
I think they changed it the week before when they changed it when the cross save stuff went live, I think.
Okay.
Which was like 2 weeks before, or like a couple weeks before. So also, I logged in on my PlayStation for the first time in like months. And all of my Xbox characters are there now, so it was kind of cool to see that actually work. I don't have a Steam account, so I don't,
You don't.
Okay. I didn't add it, but yeah, man, it's Destiny is getting bigger.
Because I do want to pick it up, but I think now, and sorry, because I did promise that I was going to pick it up Friday. I might now just like literally wait until they get their server stuff situated.
Well, the server stuff is fine. It's just they're overpopulated. They weren't prepared for how many people, because you have the people still playing on Battle.net, you have the people who migrated to Steam, you have the people on Xbox and PlayStation also, plus you have the new free version, which drew a ton of people in because it's free. Like, why wouldn't you download a free game? So, and there's a lot of free, like, the content you get there, it's like all that free content. There's a lot of content for free, man. Like,
I really wonder because I wonder if people were upset that Bungie was doing this.
The thing is, like, usually this seems like something that the Destiny community would be upset with, because like we've invested so much money and time into this, and now that it's all free. But since Bungie broke away from Activision, and they've been super clear with their audience and super passionate about, sorry guys, I know this is a Nintendo podcast, we'll end it soon, but like they've been super upfront and super vocal about what they're doing with Destiny and what they want to do with it moving forward, and how they have this new freedom now, and how they weren't allowed to use the term MMO because they wanted to position WoW as their MMO, and Destiny was just a shared world shooter or whatever. And like now they're allowed to use MMO. Now they're allowed to use all this terminology and pricing structures that Activision had in place that they're now allowed to get away from. And they want to be able to allow people to. It's almost going to be set up like WoW now, where like up to a certain level is going to be free, and then you buy the expansions piecemeal, but you don't have to buy them all. You can just buy what you want. Like you can skip Forsaken entirely, and just purchase Shadowkeep and play the Shadowkeep content and still be up to light level, still have like all the weapons and guns will be added with the most current what do you call it, expansion.
Uh-huh.
There's just now, like, each expansion comes with its own set of strikes, its own raid, and its own set of, you know, content that will be locked behind that expansion now. But, you know, everything that, you know what I mean? Like, Forsaken is its own thing now. Shadowkeep is its own thing now. Year One stuff is its own thing now. Like, it's starting to look more like how WoW is structured instead of, you know, how Activision was trying to keep Bungie structured. So it's really neat. It's really interesting, and like I can't wait to see where Bungie is next year, because I think they will have figured it all out and like really be on top of their game, you know.
So because I assume that there probably won't be a Destiny 3 to have PlayStation 5.
I doubt there will be a Destiny 3. I bet whatever, not the next expansion, but the expansion after, I bet they'll just go back to calling it Destiny at some point. And I bet that I bet eventually, maybe not. But they
kind of have it, but they kind of have it with the icon, because mine just says Destiny.
Oh, see, mine says Destiny too, I think.
I think mine said Destiny.
I don't know. My Switch is plugged in right now, so yeah, I'm pretty sure mine says Destiny too. But like, I think eventually you'll get the areas from the first game and all the expansions. I don't know if you'll get that content really, but I think you'll get those areas, and it wouldn't surprise me if they at least brought like legacy raids over. You know, just for people to experience.
But I wonder how then they would go about doing a full on 25-hour campaign.
I mean, they won't ever have a 25-hour campaign. I don't think any of the campaigns. I don't think all the campaigns put together are 25 hours.
Well,
because that's not the type of game Destiny is.
Well, the thing about it is that I give it 25 hours because of like all the grinding. I'm not
there's no grind anymore. Man, I feel bad. I feel bad talking about this on here. I feel like this is the next discussion. But right.
And we got to get into
the campaigns and the PvE stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your level doesn't really matter anymore, is how they set it up, because it's going to be more like, to put it in very generalized terms, it's gonna like, if you started today, Ed, a new character, it's gonna feel more like you're playing Halo than Destiny, because like your level doesn't really matter in the campaigns. It only matters in certain aspects of the game now, like hidden missions or nightfall strikes or certain multiplayer events or raids. Like, it doesn't really matter when you're playing through the campaign anymore.
Because the levels the levels that you was gaining also like your special abilities, like the grenades and all of that stuff. And I think some of the guns were locked until you met a level. And I guess my assumption is, and we're going to get to news, everybody, sorry about this. My assumption is that it seems that by what you're saying, that all of that's been removed. So now that it's power based, it's kind of like whatever gun that you get or something is going to raise your power, or armor and stuff is going to raise your power. Yeah. Now you don't have to. I'm assuming you don't have to grind that much to raise a level. The
grinding is way simpler than it was.
Okay.
It's not like, you know, I saw people like go from 750 to 910 in like 3 hours.
But you don't go from level 9 to level 12.
No, I think
all
everybody's out. I think unless you're starting from scratch, everybody is now level 50, which is the cap, and everybody is now light level 750.
And that's why I said a 25-hour campaign, is because it felt like every time you did a mission, you gained up a level, and so mission after mission after mission, you were gaining levels.
Yeah.
And I guess 25 hours is more like. It kind of felt that way playing all the way through, because of you jumping back and forth to different planets and you upgrading your guns and stuff like that. and maybe some of the boss battles that you have to do that you have to replay and everything. So it was everything wasn't streamlined like a regular first person shooter. There was just more back and forth and hopping around. So that made the game longer. So I'm assuming they'll still have that, but when you finish a mission, you just get a gun that's going to make your power level go up, and that's it.
Yeah,
or you could go.
I think pretty much that's where they're going. I mean, I will, once I start playing, I'll report on that on the NX show. But for now, you know, we're gonna get back to this Nintendo news because as much as I love talking about Destiny.
The last thing I'll say is I would just love to have another long campaign, like 1 or 2. Well, more like 2. I did enjoy 2's campaign, so like a story kind of campaign thing. I would love to have. I think Shadowkeep has one, but I think it's like somebody said it was like maybe 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours, which isn't terrible. So, all right. Anyways, we're going to get to this news, and we're going to kind of fly through this news because we got some questions for Question Block that are probably require some attention. So, yes. Our first story comes from Kotaku. Mario & Luigi RPG developer Alpha Dream has gone bankrupt. This is a sad story. But founded in the year 2000, Alpha Dream was originally known as Alpha Star and was staffed with people who had formerly been at Square, including former Square president Tetsuya Mizuno. The studio is best known for its Mario & Luigi RPG series. It was announced today that Alpha Dream has gone bankrupt. According to Yahoo Japan, revenue was sluggish in recent years, and development costs drove the studio into the red. As of March 2018, Alpha Dream was 400 million yen in debt. After releasing Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga on Game Boy Advance in 2003, Alpha Dream went on to do 4 more main entries in the series: Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story, Dream Team, and Paper Jam. The studio also worked on the remakes of Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga and Bowser's Minions, and Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, the last of which is Alpha Dream's final game. Yeah, this is a shocker and a weird story because I'm just like, did Nintendo finance them?
Yeah, I think the last remake, the Bowser's Inside Story remake, did not sell well at all. It did not sell at all, and I know that the Superstar Saga sold okay and Paper Jam sold okay, but I know that they did not sell well at all, and I don't know if the studio. I mean, I don't think the studio did anything else besides these in that time. So, it's kind of weird that Nintendo. If Nintendo was financing these games, why aren't they like, why are they putting up their own development costs for this? But, I mean, again, I don't know how development works, but that just seems kind of odd. But I'm pretty sad that. Alpha Dream is gone because the Mario and Luigi games are pretty good. They're pretty, they're pretty funny. They're pretty deep for simple RPGs. It's sad to see them go.
And they had great sprite work. Like they were really a good company.
I was actually really excited to see what they could do with a Mario and Luigi game on Switch. To be honest with you.
Yeah, and.
Because besides the remakes, it's been how long since their last Mario RPG or Mario and Luigi game? Like 5 years besides the remakes.
Okay, yeah, because they didn't do the one that came for Wii U. I think that was Nintendo itself.
What? Oh no, that was Paper Mario.
With the paint one.
Yeah, that was Paper Mario.
Okay.
So. I don't know. It's just sad, but
yeah. And I think all those developers are going to go to something better, and maybe Nintendo probably did pick them up. I think it's sad to see them go, but I think they should have worked, like kind of made some of their own IPs and make shorter games. Probably did some eShop kind of style indie games. But Japan is a different culture than America and Europe, so and indies are not kind of that big in Japan. But I think if they would have made something that they could call their own that was outside of Nintendo and put it on the eShop and it was really cool, I think they probably would have sold well. I think they probably would have still been around and stuff.
Yeah, I think they would if they could have had some like cheap projects that they could have thrown onto the eShop and maybe sold a couple 100,000 copies. They would be okay.
Yeah.
I hope
Kamiko did it for $5. So
yeah, I mean, I hope everybody lands on their feet. Mario and Luigi. I hope there's another Mario and Luigi game somewhere down the line. But
yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna move on to this next story. Speaking of bringing back games, Nintendo is bringing Brain Age back on the Switch. Nintendo has announced a new Brain Age game, bringing a brain training series to the Switch for the first time. The phenomenally popular Brain Age games for Nintendo DS starred a Japanese neuroscientist, Dr. Ryuta Kawashima, and featured various simple puzzles and designed to help keep your brain active. Also, Sudoku. The latest entry has only been confirmed in Japan so far, where it's called Train Your Brain Nintendo Switch Training for Adults, which is the same title as the original DS game, only the platforms were swapped out. All signs point to this game coming west sometime next year, so I will be looking forward to this because I thought Brain Age was great.
It was only $20, and it sold like hotcakes when it came out. I know,
dude. I knew, like, my parents' friends got DSs for Brain Age. Like, this is one of those games that, you know, like, everybody talks about the Wii being so popular. This was the game, I think this, accompanied with Nintendogs and stuff like that, really made the DS popular with non-gamers, right? And so, I really liked it. You know, I thought it was cool anyway.
I love the math ones.
I did too. So,
and what's cool about this is that it's also going to have a stylus. So, hopefully we get that in America, and then just think about all the new styluses that could come. Definitely,
stylus are going to be the new Joy-Con.
It probably will be, but I'm saying this right now. Everybody's going to get a stylus for Mario Maker 2.
Yeah.
Like, if they get that stylus for Brain Age, that's cool. But like, if they could use that stylus for Super Mario Brothers 2, Mario Maker 2, when folks are gone or like traveling, they'll be able to design levels easier than just using their fingers and their controller.
Yep. All right, we're going to move on to our next story. Blizzard says that it's had its sights on a Switch port of Overwatch since day one. This comes from Nintendo Life. Quote, "We wanted to make sure to do it right. As we're sure many of you have thought in the time since Nintendo Switch launched, multiplayer hero shooter Overwatch feels like a great fit for the system. While we knew translating the team-based FPS to Switch's mobile chipset wouldn't be a piece of cake, a steady stream of miracle ports had made it more and more obvious that Blizzard was looking at an open goal if they could pull it off. It wasn't until August that a leak suggested the port was finally happening, and this was later confirmed in the September Nintendo Direct broadcast. The game finally launches on the 15th of October, but what took Blizzard so long? Which Ed and I have had this conversation many times. Speaking with The Verge, game director Jeff Kaplan has said it really came down to working out how to bring the shooter over without sacrifices. In fact, he and the team had wanted the game on Nintendo's console since the first moment they laid eyes on this console. Quote, "Literally the day the Switch came out, we were thinking about it. I remember immediately talking to people around the office saying, what would it take for us to be there?" According to The Verge, work started on Overwatch for Switch just over a year ago. In the interim, Diablo 3 made its way to the Switch. It was much easier to get Diablo on the device than it was to get Overwatch. And like everything we do here, we wanted to make sure to do it right. It was just a long process of figuring out how to handle the development in a way that we felt like we would be proud of the end product.
Which I think is just a bunch of PR talk. For me, I'm like,
I don't think you had your sights on day one, but I do.
You didn't have your sights on this at all till this system started getting popular.
To me, I think they probably started thinking about it once they saw Doom, like other first-person shooters get announced for it, like Doom and Wolfenstein, right? Like I think maybe they're like, okay, if that system can run Doom, we should probably get Overwatch on there.
But the thing about it is, you stated way earlier in advance that all the employees at Blizzard was coming to the place with Nintendo Switch. So you decided not to know how popular. If this thing was selling out, all these games, indies and first and third parties was selling well, why would you just say, oh, day one? Your whole employee, you got about 400 plus some employees. If all of them are coming in with Nintendo Switch, maybe you want to start working on Overwatch or something like that now.
Actually, later in this article, it mentions Fortnite. Like, I think that E3 that Fortnite was there, I bet they were like, man, we should have had Overwatch on this before Fortnite. Because to me, I think Overwatch is a better game than Fortnite, but Fortnite being free and being having easy access to kids and stuff, like I feel like Fortnite just kind of took all that thought away of having Overwatch on the system. And like, you know, I feel like last year also, if they could have gotten Overwatch on the system last year with the rise of Overwatch League, people getting hyped for that, and you know, adding like 3 or 4 characters last year, like there's still a lot of hype around Overwatch last year, whereas this year it's like, yeah, Overwatch is still super popular, and I've tried to stream it a few times the last few weeks, right, with people, but I feel like the hype for Overwatch is almost done at this point, you know, like Overwatch League is over for the season. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad it's coming, don't get me wrong. I feel like they could have been a little bit late. I feel like they could have been a little bit more, what's the word? Not PR-y about it, but more, you know, more kind of just casual about it, being like, yeah, we've had conversations, but we didn't start until later. Like, I don't think they tried to do it day one, because this is 2.5 years later, and it took a little over a year. You know, I don't know, but
I came home and yelled at my computer when I seen this headline. I was like, "You what?"
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy it's coming. I hope I hope it does well. You know, I'll probably get it eventually for Switch, but like, I think it's a little bit too late, and you know, but hey, look, I thought Diablo was too late, and that's sold like hotcakes. So what do I know? I'm sitting in an apartment building doing a Nintendo podcast instead of, you know, something important. So, anyways, we're gonna move on to our next story, and I know this is a PlayStation story, but it affects Nintendo gamers. So here we go.
And a question that we have for later on.
Also that. PlayStation 4 Crossplay exits beta, now a full feature for developers. Sony's Crossplay function for PlayStation 4 has now completed its beta phase and is now a full feature for developers to make use of. Strangely, Sony has made no official announcement about Crossplay being promoted to a full feature. This news instead comes from a Wired article, which states that Crossplay is now available to any developer that wishes to implement it in their game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare seems like the first new game to support this at launch, with it being set for release later this month. The beta phase for PS4 Crossplay includes games such as Fortnite and Rocket League, which help prove the system's capabilities. Hopefully from now on, we will see many more multi-platform games support Crossplay. You know what I'm excited for? Destiny to be crossplay, which I think is coming because Bungie said it's on their roadmap. So very excited for that. So I mean, that means that you'll be able to play whatever. I think Warframe will end up being crossplay. I'm trying to think of Switch games that will be crossplay. I wonder if Overwatch will be crossplay just because of the whole frame rate thing, and I think people on other consoles will have better just
frame rate
and have better accuracy and stuff. But I'm just trying to look through my Switch games real quick. Crossplay.
Probably with Youngbloods, Wolfenstein Youngbloods.
I don't think so. I don't.
I mean, but the option could be there. I'm just saying, with it being online and stuff, that option could be.
I kind of think Bethesda wants that game to forget that it exists. I don't think it did as well as they wanted it to. Fortnite. We already talked about that.
If EA, even though this won't happen, if EA would have brought Apex Legends to Switch, I think that would have been crossplay.
Well, I think they said that Apex won't be crossplay for the time being because of the way they built the game.
Oh, because of the source too itchy?
They would have to redo the coding, and that would take a long time, and they would have to take the game down and then relaunch it or whatever. So, I don't know. It might be. I don't know if I got all those details right, but it's along those lines that they would have to like kind of rebuild the coding for the game to allow it to work that way. So,
I think it would have been cool if Just Dance was like crossplay. Or Ubisoft, like having a party with people on Xbox, PC, PS4, and Switch, and because I'm just like, it's only motion control, but I'm like, to have that, I'm like, that would have been cool. I don't know who has Tetris 99. I don't know if that is only Nintendo.
It is. Nintendo owns it.
Okay, Nintendo
there's a mobile game that's coming out that's like Tetris 99 called Tetris Battle Royale. I don't know if those two are one and the same.
You know, I would do Puyo Puyo Tetris then. If I was Sega, I would be like, hey, let's try to get this game, because I think Puyo Puyo came out on Xbox. I'm not sure. I know it's on PS4, but I'm just like, shoot, if not, get that game on Xbox and let's do some 4-player craziness. And have like literally fun on all the systems and stuff. Because I know Sony said they want to get some games on Switch and everything, but the games that's available now,
like they're smaller, like non-PlayStation games.
Heck, Castle Crashers just came out.
Yeah, that's not a PlayStation game though.
It's not a PlayStation game, but it's on all 3 platforms.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah. Look, crossplay just makes everything better, I feel like, and I'm glad that Sony's finally on board. To me, I think just the way that PlayStation Network is built, they had to really work at it, which is why they kept it for so long. I like, as much as I think PlayStation does a lot of things, to benefit PlayStation, I really think the crossplay thing was just because PlayStation Network is built so badly that they've really had to work at making crossplay. And the reason why Fortnite and Rocket League got into the beta, quote unquote, is because all the crossplay stuff is done on their end, not PlayStation's. So, we'll see. I'm excited to see how this opens up stuff like Destiny or the next Call of Duty, I think, is going to be the real test for this because it's the first real major game that's doing it. So,
but shoot, there's a mode missing, so that's not very viable in a sense.
Wait, what? What
the Spec Ops mode?
Oh, well, it's only it's only half of the Spec Ops mode. It's not the whole mode. So, it's the survival mode, which is something different. So, anyways, we're going to move on to our last story because we got to get to these questions and then get to some Link's Awakening, which I'm very excited for. Yes. Punisher, Blade, Morbius, and Moon Knight come to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 today. The first downloadable content pack for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, is out now. Marvel Knights, Curse of the Vampire, adds 4 popular characters to the game's already massive roster of playable heroes. The pack is out now as part of the title's expansion pass. Curse of the Vampire adds Punisher, Blade, Moon Knight, and Morbius to fight alongside the likes of Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and more. Those who purchase the expansion pass can also have a new mode, Gauntlet. In Gauntlet mode, you can join a team of 4 players to tackle challenges one after the other to earn rewards. Once you beat Gauntlet, you can unlock a survival version of the mode where you see how long you can last and where you land on the global leaderboards. Yeah, it's really cool. I I miss playing Captain America a little bit. There's also a free costume set coming for the DLC patch. Like when they patch the DLC in, if you don't own the DLC, you're still going to get cool costumes for Thor, Iron Man, Black Panther, and Captain America. So, I think they actually look pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm waiting for all the expansions now to come out, and then I'll just buy that season pass and get them all.
See, I really wanted to get back to Ultimate Alliance 3, but there's too many other games right now, and like I really enjoyed what I was playing. I was quite surprised.
We're gonna have to go online and do it together.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with how much I enjoyed Ultimate Alliance 3. I wasn't even gonna get it, and then I did, and I'm super happy that I did. And then
actually, you used them when I was hyped about it when they first announced it.
I thought I was hyped because I was like, is this because this was for the Game Awards last year? I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was that mobile fighting game coming, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then it was Ultimate Alliance 3, and then it said Switch, and it's Switch exclusive. Like, that's big. And like, and I know that Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are getting the Avengers game, but this is like, I feel like this game got way better reception than that game has so far, and like, I didn't really care, but I cared because it was a Nintendo exclusive. I didn't really care because I don't really care about Ultimate Alliance, but what I played was super fun, right? And I know Ray has played a lot of it and is super excited about it. So I guess we'll have to talk to him about this DLC if he gets back to it. Pro streamer over there, Ray Apollo. You should follow him. He's good. He's a good dude.
Yes.
So he's also on the NX show. You should download that as well.
Yes.
Ed, that's all the news. So
yes.
I guess we can get to the question block. Remember, you can email us at nintendopalblock@gmail.com, tweet at us, or follow our social threads, and you can have your question answered on air, or you can join us live in chat on Mixer and ask us questions live. We will be taking questions until about 10:25, so we can get into our after show at 10:30. But we have two questions in the question block today. We're going to start with Walter Engelschmidt. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yeah, Engelschmidt.
Yeah, I hope I'm saying your name right. If not, I'm sorry. He says, hello, fellow Nintendo fans. I've just found your show on Spotify, and I love the show. I didn't know you guys have been doing this for so long. Well, to be fair, we did do it for a long time, and then we stopped, and now we're back. Yes. So maybe that's why. And we just put it on Spotify about a month ago. So,
yay.
Yeah. Anyways, my question is this. Do you think with Reggie and Sean Layden stepping down, or stepping away, that companies are looking to become more faceless during their direct/state of play, or do you think they will need time to find new faces to fall in love with? Do you think it's important to have a relatable face to have for your product?
Okay, so let me break this down, kind of like question by question. Do you think with Reggie and Sean Layden stepping away, that companies are looking to become more faceless during their direct state of play? Not really.
I feel like, well, to be fair, I feel like Nintendo is giving us new faces, and because like Doug Bowser's pretty face forward. The Kit and Krista are pretty face forward, right? Like that's the YouTube Nintendo Minute show. Chris Slate has always been face forward. He used to be the editor in chief at Nintendo Power, and now he does the Nintendo Power podcast and helps build trending with that writing and translating stuff. He works in that department. They've got a lot of stuff, people facing forward on their YouTube page. I think I always forget the man's name who does the direct.
Kirishima?
No, maybe.
The other one.
Yeah.
Skinny one. But only reason.
Oh, let me just finish this thought real quick. And like watching the last few state of plays, and even the last couple of years, you've seen Sony kind of move away from that because Adam Boyes and Shuhei Yoshida used to be kind of like the faces of Sony. They kind of did the here's how you trade games with your friends thing at E3 when the Xbox kind of announced they wanted to do an online thing when it launched. And they kind of got away from that, and now like you watch their state of plays, even though the state of plays are good presentations, there's no faces to attach to Sony. And even Microsoft has Phil Spencer and Major Nelson and his whole crew during Inside Xbox. Like,
and well, this is the thing about it, and this is why I kind of want to break it down. The faces don't matter compared to Power Block and State of Play inside Xbox, because the only way that you see Sean Layden in them, we're only at E3, and sometimes we're whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the point I'm making, though, right?
Well, yeah, but it's just like the Nintendo Directs. You know, they had a host. You know, that's how we know more of Iwata, because we didn't know. Like, if you look at Nintendo in back in the days, nobody really didn't know what Yamaguchi was doing. He was the former head of Nintendo, but we got to see what Iwata was doing. We got to see what Reggie was doing, and also the people that we're seeing, they have had a history before they even came to Nintendo to the forefront. So people sometimes when they watch these shows, they're just learning more about who that person is. Sometimes you don't even recognize the face or anything, because the only time you recognize them is when you see them at these small at E3, and then you don't really see them throughout the year or hear much about them throughout the year. Even with Phil Spencer, you know, you get to hear him. I mean, you get to hear him more like on podcasts because he's talking to more people, and you see him at E3, but you don't barely see him on Inside Xbox. You see Major Nelson there, but not really much Phil Spencer or anything.
But so I mean, he's still like Phil Spencer's very active on Twitter, which you know Sean Layden is not. Phil Spencer's very active on Xbox and in the community, where you know, Sean Layden really hasn't been. At least, you know, you know what I mean. Like I feel like you see Sean Layden, he's always in like a suit and tie kind of thing, and I mean he has a t-shirt on under his blazer at E3 or whatever, but like Phil Spencer's always in like jeans and a t-shirt. Like, he's very relatable, and even though Reggie was very business all the time, he was very relatable, you know, because as a Nintendo fan himself, he's very relatable for someone like us who are big Nintendo fans.
Right, and you got to think of the Nintendo Direct. They show other developers and other names and stuff, people that you never seen. Like, you know, of course we get on Sakurai stuff, but I'm just like, look at some of the other games that Sakurai that those presenters have brought. You know, even though they're representing their games and stuff. Even look at it after the Nintendo Direct, the Treehouse Live stuff. Now we actually get to see more developers. So I don't think it's like a faceless thing with just those people. I'm just like, if you're watching behind the scenes, if you're watching more of these presentations and getting to know who the developers of the games are, then someone just representing a product. I don't think with Reggie leaving, and I don't think with Sean, definitely with Sean Layden, I don't think with him leaving it's going to affect State of Play, because what you get with State of Play, you get transitions in a female voice. Sean Layden, you know, Sean Layden hasn't even said nothing. Sean Layden will introduce something for E3, and then he'll walk away and come back at the end of the show. So you got to kind of look at that way. Do you think they will need time to find new faces to fall in love with? No, not really. You know,
I mean, I think people who are in the respective communities already know the faces attached to. Maybe not like, you know, Xbox or PlayStation, but like a lot of people like us who kind of pay attention and are fans of games. Like, we know Neil Druckmann is attached to Naughty Dog and The Last of Us, right? We know Cory Barlog is attached to God of War. We know Rod Ferguson is attached to Gears. We know Frank O'Connor and Bonnie Ross are attached to Halo, right? We know these things.
I think the thing about it is that you now need to. I don't think, because see, that's one of the problems about face being attached to stuff to fall in love with. We need to have minority. We need to have diversity. We need to have more females being in presentations and talking about stuff so we can't fall in love with them.
I mean, I think that's why that, before she left, I think that's why that girl at E3 for Bethesda for the Ghostwire Tokyo, I think a lot of people, because she was just kind of like genuine and being herself and whatever, and like I think people are attracted to that,
right. And I think that's what we need more of. And we're gonna fall in love with these faces and for these games and stuff. We need more diversity. We need more people coming out. Because as much as I love Miyamoto, as much as I love Phil Spencer and all of these stuff, they're the same people that is already have a love there, already have expectations of fandom. That's already there. No matter if their games are good or bad, whatever you want to judge them as, they always going to have some history that we love about them attached. We need more people in diversity. We need people from Australia. We need people from Europe, from Brazil, indie developers. Like, we need more people from more games and presidents and stuff, or CEOs coming out and speaking out more, so we could take a look at them and see who's making the product that we are planning to buy and planning to love or even hate. I think we need more of that. I think with Sean Layden and stuff leaving, it wasn't a big deal. It was just more of a shock that he was leaving. With that, do you think it's important to have a relatable face to have for your product? Not really. Sometimes there are.
I think you just need somebody that's as excited about the product as you want to be, and I think that helps drive things, right? Where, like, I think having man, I can't think of anything right now, but I think like having somebody who's excited about what they're making and showing off, like I guess like the guy who did Unraveled a few years ago, right? Like when the first time he's ever been on an E3 stage and he was super nervous and he was super endearing. I think that told a lot about him and the studio and the effort that they were putting behind the game, that we wanted to like that game because he was so passionate, endearing. Or the guy for Mario plus Rabbids, right, when he was sitting in the audience and saw Miyamoto showing off his game on the Ubisoft stage, right? Like him being so emotional about it's made us want to love that game even more because he was so passionate about it.
Right, genuine and passionate. Yeah. Even if sometimes that's not a good thing. Genuine passion. Not saying that. Like No Man's Sky is a good example. When Sean Murray, I think it was Sean Murray. Yeah. How he had these big ideas and how he spoke about it. And he became the face of Hello Games and No Man's Sky. He became the face, and when they didn't deliver, people just crapped on him. Hard. Crapped on his game, crapped on his company, and he had to go into hiding. Like him and his team had to go on a blackout mode so they could work out and get things done. So sometimes you can be enthusiastic about a game and be the face of it and everything.
Well, I think No Man's Sky is like, I think they have become the poster child of, this is not how you promote your game, but this is also how you work to make your game better. And get goodwill back, because look, everybody thought that game was dead, right? And look, a year and a half, 2 years later, they're still updating the game. They're still doing cool things with the game now, to where it's like, maybe we just should have waited and had all this stuff in the game 2 years later, right? And like, I mean, I don't know how much money they needed to do this. I don't know if it was, or like, just say, hey, this is 1.0 of the release. Here's our roadmap. Here's when we're adding this, and this. And like, it's not all going to be in there at launch, but if you stick with us, like, this is, kind of like, I think a lot of people learn from that now too, is where like all these games just have roadmaps upon roadmaps upon roadmaps, so where it's almost annoying, right? Even single player games have roadmaps, and it's like, come on, right?
And you can speak about that and still be genuine and passionate. And I think that's why, if you're going to be a face that represent a product, learn about not promising so much at that certain time.
Yeah.
But say at least, because even Destiny fell into the same thing.
Yeah.
Where Destiny and
Destiny 2 both fell into this.
Yeah, like they had all of these big things. It was going to be this big and all of this hype and stuff. And whoever became face, because Luke Smith became the face of Destiny 2. Like, and everybody who don't know about Luke Smith, he came from OneUp.com. He came from the games journalist, and he was very critical about stuff until he actually got into games itself. You know, Brian Intihar became the face of, and he came from OneUp. He became the face of Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, and look how that turned out. That turned out good for him. You know, so if you're going to be a face to represent a product and stuff, yes, be genuine, be passionate, speak about the game in a manner that is going to connect. Everything might not be there, but sometimes they should always say, you know what, we can't comment on this, but we'll be speaking more about things in the game later on. There's a way to be able to say that and get that message across where it won't upset fans and stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, I totally agree with you. I think for me, just this overall question, I feel like, or multiple questions, I guess. Like, I think all three companies are doing something. They want to do something similar, but do their own twists on it. You know, where like Nintendo Directs have been, you know, they've kind of set the standard of like, okay, we're gonna do a video presentation. This is how we want to do it. This, and this, and like most of them have been fantastic. Some of them have been downers, right? Like, and some of them have been spent way too long on certain things. Like, as much as I enjoyed the E3 one last year, like spending a half hour on the nitty gritty stuff of Smash probably wasn't the best idea.
But the reason I think that, and I think that was good for Nintendo to do that, be like, we tease you and then we shut up about it.
They did that, but then like they learned from that. Like they still did that. Like look at the last one where they did the Banjo stuff. Yes. Like they said Banjo's available now in Smash, and then they said stay tuned after the Direct for, you know, the deep dives on what's coming with Banjo, like music, movesets, patch notes, that kind of thing. And I think that's actually the correct way to do Smash, right? And you know that.
I was just saying with Nintendo doing Smash at that E3 when they first showed it, I think they overloaded everybody, not because they didn't have games. I think they was getting the stuff ready for Nintendo, but I think they already had planned on what they was going to show later on in the year. You don't sometimes don't want to give the big guns. I think because this game was going to be so big and they still had a lot to get out, I think they were just like, we're going to give you the basics. Even though if you know about this, we're going to give you the basics and some more stuff that you didn't anticipate. Shoot, Metal Gear Solid Snake being in it, be like, wait, what's going on? Konami, Capcom, like all of them is coming back and stuff. And I think Nintendo just wanted to be like, we want to overload you guys because we know we're going to be quiet for a while. So when we bring out the new stuff, you guys could once again talk about it.
Yeah. So. And you know, I think, you know, Inside Xbox is great in its own way. I think it could be produced a little bit better and kind of like, and I know that's more of like a stage show / you know, whatever, right? Like I think they could tighten that up, but I think Inside Xbox is a great idea. I think it just needs to be, you know, produced a little bit better and have things a little bit snappier, and like we don't need to spend a half hour on this. We can, because like I think everybody just wants information the fastest way possible in the most entertaining way possible, which is why I think Nintendo Directs work so well, is because they're always entertaining. You get all the info you need within like a minute or a minute and a half, and then it moves on to the next thing, but it's still entertaining. And I think once Xbox hits that correct note, I think Inside Xbox actually going to be on par or better than Nintendo Directs, because it's more of a stage show and fans are there, and like and I think they bring developers on to talk about their game, which I think Nintendo should do, but in a Direct I don't know how much you can do, but like I think Xbox does that well, you know, and I think Major Nelson does that well on his podcast too.
Yeah, and you gotta look at Nintendo, that they also did wacky stuff. You still cannot deny that Iwata and that Reggie fight to talk about Smash for Wii U.
Or the Star Fox puppets too.
Exactly, or Reggie getting hit with one of the ghosts from Yokai Watch and he eating donuts and stuff.
Or the workout video, or the robot chicken stuff. Like, Nintendo's done some weird stuff in their directs.
Weird stuff, and that's what makes them.
I kind of miss that though from the directs, right? Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love the way the directs are now, but I miss the wacky stuff, and I know that, like, with Iwata passing away and Reggie being, you know, gone and you know, moving on, and you know, I hope in the near future they get Doug Bowser to do some stuff, or Kit and Krista to do some stuff, or, you know, even some of the Japanese developers to come in, like Anuma, and come in and when Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever it's called comes out, and I hope he gets to talk about it a little bit the way that Sakurai talks about Smash. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they start doing that stuff. And, like, I think PlayStation is doing theirs in a more of a professional way, however you want to say it, where, like, they want to just deliver you the information and a trailer and some more information and just move along, right? They're not, I don't think they're meant to be entertaining. I think they're meant to be more glorified press releases.
Yeah, and then I think that's what brings the dryness, that everybody's just like, this is not good because this is too dry.
Yeah.
You know, if you have some wackiness or in it, or if you had even like Charlotte and them come in and say something about everything, like, I would have loved for Neil Druckmann to be in State of Play, and talked about a little bit more about The Last of Us, instead of just showing the trailer, and then that was the way that it ended.
Yeah,
like, some interaction, I think sometimes with these shows are always good for fans, and that's what that interaction becomes, the face of that product and of that company.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna move on to our last question so we can get into this after show, because I'm very excited. I'm really excited for the after show, to be 100% honest with you. Our next question comes from Derek Fisher. He says, "No, not the basketball player." Great basketball player, by the way.
I don't know what
underrated. He's retired, but he was a great basketball player for the Lakers.
Was he in Double Dribble or NBA Jam? I don't know.
I don't think so. He says, "Oh no, where'd you go, Ed? Where'd you go?"
I'm right here.
Oh,
hello.
Why are you? Wait, hold on. Where are you?
I'm here. My camera's on. I can see you.
Oh no, where'd you go? Hold on. Transition.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're live. I don't know where you're at.
Oh no.
Oh, there's. Oh, wait. I'm very confused. Wait, where are you? Here we go. We're gonna go this, maybe. Oh, there you are. Okay. We're back, everybody. Sorry. Oh no. Why does your face keep disappearing?
I don't know.
I don't either. I see you. Okay, you're there. We're just gonna leave it. Don't touch anything. Sorry, everybody. Derek Fisher asks, "Hey, Koopalings," stole that from an old NVC episode. Nintendo has been cracking down on emulation sites, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on this. Is there any good way to preserve these old classics?
I think it's a good thing, because
well, let me preface this by saying Nintendo filed a lawsuit against a company who was selling a monthly subscription to be able to download ROMs, which is super illegal, because they don't own any of them. So this is where this is coming from, and that company is now being sued for a lot of money. But to answer the question about emulation, I think emulation is a good thing, as long as you know, like, Turtles in Time is a game that I love dearly, right?
Yes.
I cannot go to any store and purchase that game, right? So that's where emulation comes in, and you literally have to emulate it because the rights are all over the place. It's just a terrible situation, and I think that emulation comes into play when you, especially for older games, right, to help preserve. I think it helps preserve the legacy of these games, because there's games out there that nobody knows what the original source code is, but some people have ROMs dumped onto their PC from their carts, and it's like, and sharing them, and that's the only way you can play these games, right?
Yes.
And it's like that's why Final Fantasy VIII got a remaster, right? Is because Sony lost the source code, or not Sony, Square does not have the original source code to Final Fantasy VIII. One of the pinnacle JRPGs of the PS1 era, they do not have the original source code for. So
as a Dragoon with Sega.
Yeah. I mean, look at all these games that you could not even find if it wasn't for emulation. So I know a lot of people work on emulation for some people do it for nefarious purposes, some people do it for good purposes, and I know that there's a video game archivalist,
the video game museum.
Yeah, they're archiving older games to help hopefully preserve some games.
Frank Cifaldi from One Up at EGM, he's on various podcasts talking about it.
Yeah, he's on Giant Bomb all the time talking about it. So that's one way we're going, and I think we're finally getting to that place as an industry that we are able to do these things, and like have old builds of games, have alphas of games, because look, you go back and I know we talked a lot about Destiny on this Nintendo podcast, but you look at a game like Destiny, that original game does not exist anymore, right? They've patched it, they switched out voice actors for one of the main characters, they have different quest systems, you know what I mean? Like, that original game that you played on day one does not exist anymore, except for in this the video game museum type stuff. They have something like that, and Bungie has that archive somewhere, right? Like, I think we're starting to learn to do this, but it's crazy to me to think that, like, the original Super Mario Brothers, nobody knows the exact release date for Super Mario Brothers. Isn't that insane? The most important video game of all time does not have a release date because nobody thought to save a receipt or write it down somewhere on a napkin and save it. It's just it's insane.
And because you got to think about, definitely that when the NES first came out, it was only in, I think, one location. I think it was at Toys R Us in New York.
Yeah.
And at the time, the video game being attached to it wasn't a good thing because of what Atari did.
Yeah.
But if you called it a toy and stuff, that might be something that might get people into it. And then it was just later on that people were calling it a video game system. But you also got to think about.
That's why the NES looks like a VCR, right? Like, at the time, like, nobody wanted, like, the Atari looked like a weird thing that you had to hook up. The NES literally was designed to look like a VCR, so people would put it in their entertainment centers and make it look like part of the entertainment center.
Yes. So, well, my answer for like the first part of this question, reason I say it's a good thing is because you got to think of the creators and all the people who work to make these games, and sites doing stuff illegally to benefit off of somebody else's work is never a good thing. Mm-mm. Whether some people think it is good because of emulation and keeping that history, there are ways for stuff like this to be done. We may never get another Turtles in Time, and if people want to do emulation to go play it, that's completely fine. They could go ahead and do that.
I hope we get another Turtles in Time.
but doing it in a legal way where you're benefiting off of it financial wise is never a good thing. You never want to take somebody else's work, even if you're doing it for a fan game. If you know that you are taking someone else's IP and making it to a fan game, you need to be like, it's out for 2 hours. Make sure no big industry gets it, like Game Informer, IGN, GameSpot. Don't let none of them know about it. Put it up for 2 hours and shut that mug down, because Nintendo will come after you. You know, you check, and sometimes you just gotta wait, because maybe that game may come back. I mean, I speak about Contra and Castlevania, their collections. You know, some of those games haven't been on another console in years, but they came together to bring that out. You know, and that's why they're remaking Panzer Dragoon, because they lost the source code for that. So, and the remake probably going to look better. So I think
the remake did look good in that trailer.
Like if you're gonna do emulation, know what the risks are going to be. Just do not benefit off of it financial wise. Definitely, if you know that Nintendo has been doing this to a lot of people, don't even try it. You know.
Yeah.
The second part of the question, is there any good way to preserve these old classics? There is a way. But sometimes it depends on how much money you are willing to spend. If you see someone who's trying to sell you some kind of like collection game for so much higher price, wait if you need to. There's always somebody's grandma or mom who got some old games that they're trying to get rid of. Always say, check the swap meet, check the Salvation Army, check different garage sales.
All games at Goodwill are $1, by the way.
You know, like there are ways that these games are being preserved. So if you want them, just go and get them. Also, the Recon 5. Like, if you're able to get some of those games, the cartridges stuff, but you don't have the system of the Recon 5 could play them, that's a good way to let you know if that game is working or not, preserving it. Heck, Hue cards from TurboGrafx 16, even PC Engine stuff, they're hard to come by. But if you can find them and you can get your hand on one of those systems, hey,
I also think, like, in terms of preservation, I think like these mini consoles that have come out are decent ways of like having classic games, and like what Nintendo's doing on the Nintendo Switch Online, and like the different collections of like the Mega Man Legacy Collection is an amazing collection. Like, whether you care about Mega Man or not, like, those collections are so good. They have all that art in them. They have the the soundtracks in them. Like, they're really well done collections to preserve that, right? Like, I think Capcom's doing a great job of preserving their older games for modern consoles. Like Okami HD is another great not necessarily a retro game, but it's a PS2 game that they've brought forward, and I think it looks great still.
Yeah. And last, because this is my final point, also collect some of the garbage games, the games that people don't care about, that's in the used bin, that people laughed at, because you never know, that bad game or something that may become a high price item that somebody wants. Because they may be like, I'm trying to collect everything from THQ or LGN, and if you got
I know right now a bunch of old Sierra games are like, people are really looking for those, because like Sierra is now defunct. I think they exist in some form, but I don't think they're doing games anymore, right? So like I know Sierra games are a popular collector's item right now too.
It keep your current libraries in good conditions. Mine's kind of all over the place, but I still got the box and I still got the game. Always keep them in a good place. Invest in some shelves. like if you're a person who don't care about preservation, who don't care about collecting games and stuff, even if you're doing digital and everything, make sure to keep it in a space that is going to be used well. That's going to be air like nice, like you keep the weather warm and stuff. Like, just make sure that you take care of your games. That's one of the best preservation. Corey, you are a prime example. You have a history of a lot of games, and you got them in great condition.
Yeah,
I some of them went bye, but
no. Look, I've been doing this thing where, you know, I have some NES games that I loved growing up, and I have Super Nintendo games and and Genesis games. Like, I have a lot of them. Kind of, I've been cleaning out my parents' house because they all my old stuff is over there, and I'm keeping games that I loved physically, right, and then getting rid of a lot of stuff that I don't really care for, but I know people will care for, right? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not going to care about it, I want somebody else to care about it, right? I want somebody else to have it. But there are two systems I would kill. Well, three systems I would kill to like start collecting for again, right? And like that's I at some point I will start doing that if I, you know, start making a little bit more money and you know, doing some different things in that area. But you know, GameCube, Nintendo 64, and Dreamcast are the three systems I would love to like collect for. And Ed, you've seen my Nintendo 64 collection. Like, I have a pretty solid Nintendo 64 collection, and all but 2 games are complete in box.
Yes.
Which is unheard of because Nintendo 64 games came in cardboard sleeves that people just threw away. You've seen my Link's Awakening box. You've seen my original Game Boy box. You've seen, you know, all these. You've seen my Pokemon Red and Yellow instruction manuals that are beat to hell, but they're there and they're complete, right? So, like, the things I do care about, I do care about them. I just, you know, I want some, like, if I don't care about Tom Sawyer Island on NES, right? I just don't. I just don't care about it. So I'm going to try to get rid of it. But, you know, I do care about the Ninja Turtles games. I do care about the Mario games. Yes. I do care about Zelda and Metroid. And, you know, I know those are pretty quote unquote generic ones to care about, but I do care about those games and I would like to have them physically. And I saw somebody on Twitter the other day, and I know we got to wrap up so we can get to the after show, but I saw somebody the other day on Twitter had the first 6 NES games of Mega Man, the first 6 Mega Man games. This person's wife made a shadow box kind of display for them, and they're behind glass, but that, like, each cartridge is in, like, it looks like, you know, the little white squares around each boss, and then the background is just kind of like a blue design. That's what it looks like, but each cartridge is in a boss slot instead of the boss. So it looks like the boss select screen on Mega Man, and it's awesome.
Nice.
And in the middle, it has like it might be an NES in the middle, which is really cool. And like maybe one day I'll do something like that, or, you know, just kind of keep the sleeves on them and keep them clean and whatever, because I replaced the pins in my NES and Super Nintendo about 5 years ago. So they run like new. And you don't have to blow in the cartridges or slam them down into the system. It just works like it should. So, but yeah, I think emulation is important to a degree. Just don't do it illegally. You know, and don't be a jerk when you're doing it. So,
yeah.
But anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of Nintendo Power Block. Remember, you can find us live on Mixer Thursdays for now until keep up with us on Twitter. We'll let you know what's happening with that. You'll still find it live on Saturdays on podcast services and YouTube. Stay tuned on Mixer if you're watching live for the Nintendo Power Block Retro Games After Show, and I will be playing A Link to the Past. If you're not watching us live and you're listening to us on podcast service, you can check the YouTube page or the websites for the Retro Games After Show the following Thursday. We're making our way through The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, so check it out. You can follow me at CoreyNH2713 on Twitter. You can follow Ed at That Retro Code. You can download his podcast, Optional Opinion. You can check out the NX Show, which we are both on, and Ed hosts, and I'm there, I think, except for this weekend because of work. But anyways, I want to thank everybody so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you rate us on your podcast service of choice. Rate us, review us, send us a like, and some social media stuff is happening for Power Block. I just need to reset it all up. So we will have more information on that later. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching. And until next time, we love you.
Bye, everybody. Woohoo!